I've always believed that family, for better or worse, is something sacred. But sometimes, the people who share your blood can break you in ways no stranger ever could. My name is Layla. I'm 27. And up until a few weeks ago, I still believed that blood was thicker than betrayal. I believed that helping each other, especially in tough times, was what families did. Then my younger sister Maya, 7 months pregnant, tried to steal my car in the middle of the night, with my parents helping her. Let me back up. Maya and I grew up under the same roof, but in completely different worlds. I was the older sister, the planner, the fixer, the little adult in the house before I even hit puberty. Maya was the golden one, the baby, the girl who cried when she didn't get the red cup and had it swapped out before her tears even dried. It wasn't just the usual sibling rivalry. It was a pattern. I took care of myself. Maya had people trip over themselves to help her. I was expected to understand, to be patient, while she was expected to, well, exist. Still, I tried not to hold it against her. We were different, sure, but we were sisters. And sisters help each other, right? At least I used to believe that. After college, I bought a modest silver 2010 Honda Civic. It wasn't flashy. No leather seats. No Bluetooth. But it was mine, bought with the paychecks I earned working 2 jobs. Every oil change, every tire rotation, every dollar I put into that car was a reminder. I did this. That car wasn't just a machine. It was my freedom, especially now. I was working part-time after a surprise layoff, and every cent mattered. No car payments. No lease. Just reliability. That Civic was my safety net. Which is why, when Maya looked across the dinner table one Sunday and said, "You could just let me have your car," I almost laughed. Except she wasn't joking. I still remember how quiet the room got. Forks clinked. My mom stared at me, hopeful. Maya looked dead serious. "No," I said, firm but polite. Maya blinked, offended. "But I'm pregnant. That junk car Dad gave me is barely hanging on. What if it dies when I'm driving to a prenatal appointment?" I nodded sympathetically. "I get that. But I still need my car, Maya. I'm job hunting. I live alone. I can't just give it up." That's when it started. My mom piped in. "You barely drive anymore, honey. You work part-time. Maya needs it more." My sister's husband chimed in too. "It's for the baby." I tried to stay calm, but the sheer audacity made me feel like the walls were spinning. They were treating me like I was being unreasonable for saying no to giving away my car. "You can borrow it in emergencies," I offered. "But give it to you permanently? That's not happening." Maya's eyes welled up. "You just don't get it. If you loved your nephew, you'd want him to be safe." That was the first guilt grenade, but it wouldn't be the last. I thought that argument would blow over. It didn't. A week later, I was jolted awake by the screech of a trailer in my driveway. When I ran outside, hair a mess and heart pounding, I saw it. My dad's pickup, hitched to a flatbed. My Civic halfway up the ramp. My car. My sanctuary. Being loaded up like some Craigslist freebie. "What the hell are you doing?" I screamed. They froze like I'd caught them mid-crime, which I had. My mom rushed over. "Sweetheart, don't freak out. We were just what? Stealing my car while I was asleep?" My dad tried to reason. "Let's not be dramatic. We thought this would be easier." "Maya?" She stood by the mailbox, arms crossed over her bump, not even pretending to feel guilty. "You were never going to say yes," she said coldly. We had to take matters into our own hands. As I wrestled with the straps they'd attached to my car wheels, Maya dropped another bomb. "I already told everyone you were giving it to me. We planned the shower. You were going to surprise me with the keys." "Shower? At my house? A party I didn't even know about?" They weren't just trying to take the car. They'd written a whole fantasy around it, where I played the part of the generous, childless big sister making a grand gesture. They wanted to force my hand with guilt and optics. I threatened to call the cops. That got them moving. They drove away, empty-trailered and full of resentment. I thought maybe, that would be the end of it. I was wrong. Very wrong. That Saturday morning was supposed to be quiet. Instead, I found myself barefoot in the driveway, heart racing, yelling threats at my own parents while my pregnant sister stood by watching. Not horrified, not ashamed, but annoyed. Like I was being difficult. My hands were shaking as I grabbed my phone. I wasn't bluffing. "If you don't unhook my car right now, I'm calling the cops," I snapped, finger already hovering over the call button. My dad's eyes narrowed. "No need to do anything rash." "Rash? This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was a carefully coordinated ambush, and the only reason it failed was because I happened to wake up in time. They left, begrudgingly, but I knew deep down this wasn't over. They waited a few days. Then came the apology. My mom called sounding soft, motherly. "Let's talk this out like a family," she said. "No tricks this time. Just dinner and a chance to make things right." And despite every warning bell in my gut, I went. Because some part of me still believed, maybe they meant it. Maybe this was them realizing they'd crossed a line. I drove my Civic to their house, trying to quiet the unease in my chest. They greeted me warmly. Maya even smiled. Dinner was awkward but civil, until after the plates were cleared. My mom said, "Can you help us carry a few baby things from the garage?" I nodded. Of course. A small olive branch. But the second I stepped outside with a box in my arms, I heard it, the sound that still haunts me. My car. Engine on. Backing down the driveway. I sprinted, dropping the box on the lawn. Maya was behind the wheel, one hand waving smugly out the window. "Thanks for coming around, sis," she called. "I knew you'd do the right thing." And then she was gone. The police report. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I called an Uber. Then I called the police. I wasn't doing this anymore. I wasn't going to play understanding big sister, while they treated me like I was nothing more than a resource to exploit. By the time I got home, I had filed a full report, license plate, VIN, my sister's address. The works. I texted the family group chat. "My car has been reported stolen. If it's not returned immediately, I will press charges." No one responded. Not a single word. That night, I got the call from the police. They had pulled Maya over on the highway. She told them I gave her the car as a gift. But my name was on the title. They arrested her on the spot for auto theft. She was 7 months pregnant. And in handcuffs. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Even now, retelling it, I don't feel good about that moment. But I don't feel guilty either. I warned them. Repeatedly. And they refused to listen. The next call came from my mother. It was a screaming match of hysteria and accusations. "She's pregnant. You got your baby sister arrested. Do you even care if she goes into labor early? Is that what you wanted?" I hung up. Then came the call from jail. Maya. Sobbing. Angry. Begging. Then threatening. "You're ruining my life. You don't care about your own nephew. You're heartless." Click. The next day, my dad showed up. He stood on my front step like a man visiting enemy territory. "We don't condone what she did," he said. "But don't you think this is going a little too far?" I stared at him through the screen door. Where was that energy when she went too far? He didn't have an answer. He asked me to drop the charges. "She's learned her lesson." I said no. I picked up my car from the impound the next morning. It was still intact, low on gas, smelling like some kind of drugstore perfume, but otherwise untouched. The relief of having it back was short-lived. Because that same evening, Maya's husband came to my house. And he wasn't alone. Her husband, Nate, brought a friend. Some guy I barely knew, but had seen hovering around family functions. I should have slammed the door the second I saw them. But I was tired of hiding. I stepped out onto the porch and closed the door behind me. Nate started off calm. "We need to de-escalate. This has gone too far." He was trying to sound reasonable. I wasn't buying it. "I want it over too," I said. "So tell your wife to stop sending people to harass me." He said they wanted to propose a compromise. "We'll pay you, like a monthly payment plan. Say, $200 a month." I actually laughed. "You want to buy my car like it's a Netflix subscription?" His friend, the one who hadn't said a word until now, stepped forward. "You're being selfish. That car's not even worth that much." I squared my shoulders. "Then why don't you give them your car?" That shut him up. Nate tried again, more forceful now. "She's had enough. She's pregnant. You've made your point. Can't you just let this go?" I shook my head. "I did what I had to do. You all escalated it. Now you want me to pay the price for it." His friend took one more step toward me. "If anything happens to that baby, it's on you." I didn't flinch. "No. If anything happens, it's on the people who made this mess." Then I turned and went inside. Locked the door. Called the non-emergency line to file a report. That night, I blocked everyone except my dad. 2 months passed. The legal process was moving. Maya was out on bail. I kept my distance. Total no contact. And then last week, my nephew was born. I got an email, a birth announcement, a cute baby photo, and a note, supposedly from Maya. I hope you're happy. We almost died because of that car. Went into labor early from stress. Barely made it to the hospital. If my son had died, it would have been your fault. I'll make sure he knows that his aunt never cared. I didn't respond. Instead, I forwarded it to the prosecutor's office. As evidence. I've gone no contact. With Maya. With my mother. Maybe even my dad. I'm still deciding. Extended family has started to learn the truth. Some have apologized. Others are furious at Maya. Turns out when you leave out the part where you tried to steal your daughter's car, people don't sympathize as much. And as for the legal case, it's in the prosecutor's hands now. I've done everything I can. All I wanted was to live my quiet, responsible life. I never imagined my own family would treat me like I was disposable. But they did. And now, I choose peace. Even if that peace comes alone.